It was supposed to be just another tense congressional hearing. Cameras lined the walls, reporters scribbled furiously, and the air crackled with the kind of electricity you only feel when reputations are on the line. At the center of it all sat two figures who couldn't have been more different in style. Tone or political philosophy Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, with her razor-sharp confidence and unapologetic passion, and Senator John Kennedy, a man known for his slow Southern drawl, his folksy charm, and a mind sharper than a steel trap. The issue on the table was complex, a sweeping piece of legislation dealing with financial oversight and corporate accountability. But to the millions watching from home, it wasn't just about the bill. It was about the clash of two titans, a battle of intellect and willpower. The moment Kennedy adjusted his microphone, the entire chamber seemed to fall into a nervous hush. AOC leaned back in her chair, a faint smirk playing on her lips. She'd just delivered a pointed remark about career politicians with dusty law degrees, her words dripping with sarcasm. The jab was aimed straight at Kennedy. She questioned whether such degrees even meant anything in the modern political arena, suggesting that real-world experience mattered more than legal theory buried in old textbooks. Her allies chuckled. Even a few journalists cracked a smile. But Kennedy didn't flinch. He just sat there, silent, letting the laughter echo for a moment too long enough for the tension to build, long enough for everyone to realize he was about to answer. There was a certain quiet power in the way he looked at her, a stillness that spoke of restraint and precision. 47 seconds later, the world would understand why. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and deliberate. "Congresswoman," he began, "I don't mind you mocking my law degree, but that piece of paper you just dismissed, not just ink and parchment. It's the reason I know how to protect the people who can't afford to hire an army of lawyers. It's why I've stood in courtrooms where a single sentence could decide whether a man lost his home or a mother got to keep her children. And it's why I'm here, making sure the powerful don't eat the powerless for breakfast." The chamber went still. The smirks faded. Even the cameras seemed to lean in closer. It wasn't just the words, it was the weight behind them. Kennedy wasn't defending his ego. He was defending the very foundation of why he entered public service. You could see it in the way he spoke, the way his hands rested calmly on the table. He'd been in those trenches. He'd fought those battles. And for a moment, it was impossible not to feel the truth in what he was saying. AOC's eyes flickered just slightly, but enough for the trained observer to notice. It wasn't defeat exactly, but it was a moment of realization. A reminder that sometimes experience isn't about how long you've been in the game, but about the kind of fights you've been willing to take on. The hearing continued, but something had shifted. Kennedy's point lingered in the air, shaping the tone of every question and every answer that followed. Even those who disagreed with his politics found themselves begrudgingly nodding. By the end of the day, the headlines weren't just about policy. They were about the moment one man turned an insult into a lesson on dignity, service, and the quiet kind of strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard. And that's the real story, the one the cameras can't fully capture. Because it wasn't about a win or a loss. It was about the power of restraint, the grace of knowing when to speak, and the courage to stand in your truth even when the room is full of laughter. Sometimes all it takes is one sentence. And if you use it right, it can echo far longer than the applause or the jeers.